Hey, welcome. Let's talk about that nagging little voice in your head, the one that whispers, "Am I sure I know what I'm doing?" Well, what if I told you that feeling isn't a weakness at all, but actually a hallmark of true intelligence? In this explainer, we're going to completely flip the script on what it means to be smart and show you why doubting yourself might just be your greatest strength. Okay, I'm sure this feels familiar to a lot of you. You're in a big meeting, or maybe you just absolutely nailed a huge project, and instead of feeling proud, you've got this pit in your stomach. You're just waiting for someone to expose you as a fraud. That right there is the imposter feeling. And wow, it is a heavy thing to carry. But you're so not alone. It's incredibly common, especially for people who are actually really good at what they do. So let's just tackle this thing head on together. We're going to break down this whole myth of inadequacy and really get to the bottom of where that feeling of being an imposter comes from. Ready to dive in? For most of us, this is just our default setting. We're taught from a young age to project confidence, no matter what. Fake it till you make it. Doubting ourselves feels like a vulnerability, something we have to hide. But what if that entire belief system is just, well, what if it's just wrong? To really, truly understand why self-doubt can be a strength, we first have to look at its complete opposite, that blissful, almost unshakable overconfidence. And trust me, it is a very real and very fascinating phenomenon. And it actually has a name, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Think about it like this. It's like trying to proofread your own writing when you don't really know the rules of grammar. You literally don't have the skills you need to even see your own mistakes. In other words, some people are so unskilled at something that they are completely blind to their own incompetence. And this chart just illustrates that gap perfectly. See that bar on the left? That's actual skill. It's pretty low. But then look at the bar on the right for perceived skill. It is towering, a skyscraper of confidence. This huge canyon between what's real and what someone thinks is real, that's the Dunning-Kruger effect in action. It's the absolute peak of overconfidence. Okay, so now let's flip that coin and talk about the reality of intelligence. If overconfidence is born from ignorance, what do you think is born from true knowledge? Well, the answer, and this might be surprising, is humility. And this part is absolutely crucial. Intellectual humility isn't about having low self-esteem. Not at all. It's about shifting your entire focus from proving yourself to improving yourself. It's that quiet confidence that comes from knowing you don't have all the answers and being totally okay with that. It's a sign that your mind is firing on all cylinders, curious and ready to grow. And this comparison just lays out the difference perfectly. The overconfident mind, it's a closed book. It thinks it's already got all the answers. But the humble mind, well, that's an open library, constantly looking for new information and different points of view. It's pretty clear which one is the true mark of intelligence, isn't it? So this brings us right to the core paradox of wisdom. You would think that the more you learn, the more confident you'd feel. Seems logical, right? But in reality, the opposite is often true. The journey to real knowledge is actually paved with doubt. And that's where things get really, really interesting. This quote just nails it. It's kind of like learning to play an instrument. At first, you master a few chords and you feel like a total rock star. But the more you learn, the more you start to realize the absolutely vast universe of music that you haven't even touched yet. The landscape of your own ignorance suddenly becomes visible. And wow, that can be a really humbling experience. This side here maps out that journey beautifully. You start at the peak, where you're just blissfully unaware of all the things you don't know. Then, as you learn more, you fall into the valley where you're totally overwhelmed by how much there is to learn. This right here is where the imposter feeling loves to kick in. But if you keep going, you start the climb, where you embrace that it's a lifelong journey and you get comfortable with the unknown. Real wisdom, it lives in that climb. So what's the ultimate takeaway from all this? It's time to reframe your entire relationship with doubt. The ability to just say, "I don't know," isn't a weakness. It's your secret weapon for growth. It is the key that unlocks the door to every single discovery. So the next time that imposter feeling creeps in, don't fight it. Embrace it. See it as a signal that you're on the right track, that you're pushing the boundaries of your own knowledge. Because look, true confidence isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to ask the right questions. So stay curious, stay humble, and just never stop learning. I'll leave you with this one final challenge. If intellectual humility is the key to unlocking your full potential, then the courage to be wrong is the first step on that journey. So I'll ask you, what is one belief you hold, something you're really sure about,
that you are willing to question today? The answer to that, well, it might just change everything.